My name is David O'Keefe, and I'm the County Commissioner representing District 5 in Leon County. And when I testified before the House Committee regarding this legislation last week, I made a very simple point. Local elected officials are the closest representatives to our neighbors. We have a fundamental duty to represent their values. Even when we disagree on those values, we ought not threaten the removal of duly elected officials from office just for representing the best interests of their communities. When you read the bill, it becomes abundantly clear that HB1001 is not just a threat to local control or free speech. It's a direct threat to our local economy, our public safety, and our taxpayer resources. Now, I'm deeply concerned about the economic and community impact this bill could have right here in Leon County. Because the language is so overly broad, I'm concerned that it could threaten long-standing, successful programs that our community relies on for safety and economic empowerment. I'm concerned this could jeopardize our joint city-county funding for the Council on the Status of Men and Boys, a program specifically targeted at reducing homicides and non-fatal gun violence in our neighborhoods. Public safety is the bedrock of a strong local economy, and I'm worried this bill could undermine that work. I'm concerned it could impact the Commission on the Status of Women and Girls and the vital community events they support, like the Empowerment Summit, which gives women the tools they need to succeed in the workforce and start local businesses. I'm incredibly concerned about the severe economic impact this could have on cultural festivals that drive tourism and local commerce in our county. And we don't know if they will be eliminated, but this bill puts a target on the backs of major economic drivers like Pride Fest, the Harambe Festival, the Jewish Food Festival, and the Experience Asia Festival. These are events that fill our hotel rooms, they pack our local restaurants, and they support our small business vendors. And threatening to pull support for these events is an attack on our local small business economy. And I'm deeply concerned about what this means for institutions that preserve our history and educate visitors and residents. Our commission proudly supports the Florida Civil Rights Museum, and we regularly support the John G. Riley House Museum right here down the street from the Capitol. And I'm deeply concerned that this legislation can have a chilling effect on our ability to support these vital heritage and tourism sites. This is vague and sweeping language that would also subject local governments to burdensome and costly lawsuits if even one person believes a program or permit violates this law. And as was said, fighting those frivolous lawsuits ultimately diverts precious taxpayer resources away from vital public services like roads, parks, first responders, and even if the government ultimately prevails in court. This is exactly the opposite of how government should function. Instead of passing vague mandates that pit us against each other and threaten local officials with removal from office, the state legislature could be working together with local governments to solve the real, everyday problems our neighbors are facing. We are dealing with a severe affordable housing crisis right now, and we should be partnering with the state to build affordable rental housing so that parents working double shifts, retirees, and young professionals can actually afford to live in the communities they serve. We should be working hand in hand on workforce development, building local apprenticeships, and creating pipelines to high-paying jobs. We should be pooling resources to address the rising cost of living, improve our local infrastructure, and support the small businesses that are the backbone of our economy. And that's the leadership our mutual constituents elected us all to deliver. Businesses want to locate in communities that are vibrant, safe, and welcoming. And if the state forces local governments to abandon community safety programs and threaten festivals and cultural and art events that make our cities destinations, we will all lose. We cannot afford to let vague state mandates jeopardize our local economy, drain our tax dollars in frivolous lawsuits, or defund critical violence prevention programs. We must protect our community's right to invest in the people and programs that we decide make our hometowns thrive.